Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Asuri Balde. We are back again on another edition of QTV this morning. It's Thursday. It's almost the end of the week for us on this platform. And I am Ibrahim Asuri Balde. We're saying hello to all our viewers, wherever you're watching us from. We are saying thank you for following this program, and when we started, it's a long time, and still some of these people will send messages and show their appreciation, especially when we analyze some of the papers. And one of them, it's Mr. Jawara. He is currently in the US. He follows this program every morning. So I'm here with Mr. Mamadou Mbodj as the co-host of this program. Mr. Mbodj, good morning.
Good morning, Ibrahim. And it's not sort of almost the end. It is the end.
It is the end.
Today is the last day of the week.
Today is the last day of the week for us.
Exactly, for us.
I am just being very careful not to say it's the end of the week for us. I just recall that Friday is there, although we are not going on this morning.
We're talking about this program.
Yes.
Or are you thinking that, probably for some reason it might come?
Absolutely.
From nowhere.
Absolutely. It can be a special broadcast at some point. Yeah, so how are you?
Alhamdulillah. It's always I always look forward to the end of the week. There's something about Thursday, Friday, Saturday that puts some more pep into the step, as I put it. So yes, I like the end of the week.
I love that. And our newspaper review guest is no other than Mr. Malika. Mr. Ka, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to join you once again.
Yes.
I think
it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
From discussions with few people, they enjoy Mr. Ka being on the platform and also, reviewing some of the papers.
Absolutely.
So some of them were very careful to ask for Mr. Ka at some point. Wow, Mr. Ka, I enjoy what he does on TV. So thank you very much for always willing to come on this platform.
Thank you. It's my pleasure as always.
When Adi is here, some people sort of, perhaps ironically, they call us the three wise men. But today it looks like 2.5.
I won't say anything. I won't say anything. I'll just pretend as if I didn't hear that.
Boy is already provoking you, so do not take the bait.
Yeah, so on the program, we'll take a look at the African code, then the newspaper review, and we'll also be talking to the public relation officer of the Gambia Armed Forces, and we'll be talking about the deploying of our Gambian soldiers to Sierra Leone. For the past month, we've been hearing a lot of rumors surrounding it, but now we want to hear from the PRO himself to tell us what is the procedure and how far have they gone, and what is the motive behind sending some of these soldiers to Sierra Leone. And of course, from there, we'll talk to Farm Fresh, our own Gambian, farm, involved in producing, a lot of vegetable for the Gambian market. And Modou Njai, CEO and founder of Farm Fresh, will be here. They are currently working on conducting a particular training at QCT, where they will train young entrepreneurs on, farm production. So it will be important to hear from them as well. Then we are moving to agriculture today, Mr. Mbodj.
Absolutely, and we should. 70% of the workforce are all involved, directly linked to agriculture. Of course, we have to.
Exactly. So we'll also be looking at the breast cancer screening by the economic forces in the Gambia. And the team is already on their way. They'll be in the studios here and we'll be talking about this. The forces, they have a lot of things to offer. When you see the force, all that you think about is maybe guns, peacekeeping, but they have also other things side by side that they can offer to the nation. And they are doing it. This is one of them. And they've been doing similar things as well. So, Mr. Mbodj, today we have a packed running order. So I think we'll go straight to the African code.
That's it. We cannot afford to waste any time. Then,
Absolutely,
do we?
absolutely.
Then do us the honors.
Yes, so can you take us through? Can you take us through?
Oh, God.
You already did, I thought.
Anyway.
No, we did not talk about,
Okay,
we did not deal with
all right,
Africa,
let's go through this. Don't be so much in love that you cannot tell when it's raining. Don't be so much in love that
Don't
you
like
cannot tell
romantic.
when
Anyways,
it's
just don't be blinded
raining.
by love to the extent that you cause damage to yourself. Be with your faculties, you know. Be sober and reflective in terms of, you know, love, because sometimes you can just do things in excess and it can hurt you, because love and hate, the boundary is very thin. So just be mindful, don't step onto mines. So just be careful, in other words, when you give your heart away.
Yes, that's interesting, because my interpretation is this, especially using this term when it's raining. Is there anything more boring than rain? So it seems to me, don't have your head in the clouds to the extent that you forget about the mundane stuff.
Absolutely.
You see, the quotidian stuff, the ugly stuff that human beings have to do. You know what I mean? Even though you can be in love, what we used to call puppy love. You know what I mean? So I think that is it. Don't have your heads in the clouds. Your love doesn't mean that. There's still the dirty work to do. You know what I mean? There's still ordinary life going on, and you're going to have to face sort of ordinary privations, as they call it. So be realistic, be grounded. Yes, you are in love, fantastic, but be grounded. Life goes on, and you have to do all the other stuff.
Absolutely, yes. It's telling you, you know, you always have to prioritize what's important as well. You cannot just focus on one thing. You know, being in love is one thing, but I mean, are you also allowing yourself to get your own space where you can deal with your own issues as well? You know, when you talk about love, it can vary. It can be differently. You can fall in love with your wife, your father. You
It's
can
called platonic love.
Absolutely, you can love your father.
Platonic
You know, at some point. But I think the love that they are talking about here is. Do not be blinded at some point, even if, okay, fine, I like Mr. Carr, but I cannot tell Mr. Carr the truth. You understand? At some point, I like you to an extent that I will not be able to. I like Aliu, I cannot tell Aliu the truth.
And you don't like him that enough. You have to, you know, telling the truth is completely different thing. That you should always have the courage to tell the truth to yourself and to any other individual, and that helps. Because it helps the person and it helps you. So that is true love, actually. It's not fake. If it is fake, then you just have to not speak truth to power. You don't speak truth to your friends. You don't speak truth to people. But there is always a way that you can quote the truth to tell somebody that you really have respect and have certain things. But you will always make sure that you try and tell the truth. I think it frees you and frees you.
That's an interesting interpretation there that's Belder's got. So you're saying that with human beings, don't sort of love them to the extent that you wouldn't tell them that it's raining. That was the reality out there. That's an interesting one. Absolutely. If I'm afraid to tell you the reality, that I'm not sure whether I can call that love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether love necessarily stops you or restricts you from saying certain things. Maybe that would be attributed to other motives, you know what I mean, or the weaknesses, as it were, of character. But genuine love, we have this romanticized stuff that we see in movies. That kind of thing, that's for teenagers.
Yeah, because
when you're a teenager, that is what happens.
Yes.
But when you're growing up, love sort of becomes more sophisticated.
Mr. Boj,
really.
I think it depends, you know, each and every person to what extent you felt the love for you. I mean, you might, see it differently. I might not be able to, even if I love you, I'll have to tell you the truth. If you are faulty, you are faulty. You understand? But people might be different. There are people that cannot look other people into their eyes, especially people that they feel for, and they tell you the truth.
This is my point. That is not necessarily love. You have other motives, as it were, that's it going on there. So it's not necessarily love. Let's be careful with this term love. It's really very, very difficult to pin down. Just as you said, you were talking about the platonic love. You have the romantic love.
So what we do now, we are running out of time. We can just move on straight. I mean, I think the media advocacy and, you know, media talking about the grade 9 results, I mean, paid dividend. At some point, the ministry communication department was here, I think on Monday, and we talk about this, that why is WIC holding the grade 9 results, you know. At some point, I even pushed the guy to an extent, telling him, oh, the ministry is owing WIC, that's why the results are still pending. But he said he wouldn't say it. Now the results are released.
Let's be fair to Mr. Sen. The principal education officer at the ministry, he said that he didn't know that wasn't within his department. That wasn't the sort of thing that his department would know. We had to talk to other people within the ministry. So let's be fair with him. Oh, absolutely. We knew that there was a reason behind it. So you had all of these rumors, but this is what it is. When you do not have facts, you know, nature hates a vacuum. Then rumors will fill the facts. Conspiracy theories will fill in the space, you know, because we didn't have the facts.
Because we were expecting, if he come on the program, I mean, he would be able to tell us reasons why the results are pending. But he said we cannot put words in his mouth. That's what he said.
But it doesn't matter. Now, do we know? Now, do we know the reasons why?
Well, the press conference will
tell
clear
us. Will clear the air today. Absolutely. It is important that we look into these things, these niggling, quite embarrassing things in many ways, so that they wouldn't happen, you know, the reasons to withhold students' results. And we all know we were all students once you've taken your exams, and afterwards you're all looking forward to it, and you don't want any administrative glitches.
It's very torturing. There is nothing more torturing than waiting to know what your results are. Well, anyway, now that there is a solution and they come up with it, I think they will learn the lessons. That is the most important thing, learning the lessons so that they can move forward to avoid such situations
Absolutely.
next year.
Absolutely. Yeah, so let's move on. On the Standards newspaper, research shows most UTG graduates don't work in their fields of study.
We dealt with that yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, then it's kind of
have you repeated this paper?
Yeah, but we
have they repeated it? Another paper, maybe another paper has come.
Have something different?
It's the Standard. So we are trying to, check some of these papers, and let's take a look at KMC secures $26 million UN Development Fund.
That's a bonanza for them if that is true. I don't know what it is marked for, but it's a substantial amount of money. You're talking in dollars. So did they specify or go in detail as to what the targets are in terms of what is intended for, or is just a headline?
But the headline is UN Development Fund, isn't it? It's a UN Development Fund.
Kudos to them if they can utilize it for, you know, some important social services and projects that serves the community. It's welcoming. Every little thing helps.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the issue of the councils. Last time I was talking about it on the program. I think there should be proper structures when it comes to the way we dispense finances. You know, when it comes to these councils, I mean, the local government commission, the commissions whose, you know, the irregularities when it comes to handling of funds. I mean, recently, a security man from KMC who allegedly claimed that he deposited $315,000 into his boss account. And, you know, these are all things that should be put into structure. I mean, where is the digitalization? We talk about it all the time on this program, Mr. Carr.
But the structures are there. That's why they were able to capture it. These were just some kind of malpractices that we are not following the rules. But if obviously the fact that they are able to pick these things shows that there is a structure, but people don't follow it. And that is why they are conducting these commissions, so they can know the wastages and the malpractices, so that they can avoid those. And so after the commission submitted their reports, recommendations would be there, and a lot of things would be straightened up, so they will avoid a lot of things.
But that's precisely it. This is what our problem is. Not lack of structure as such, but we ignore the structures for some reason, and then it seems they get away with it. So this was what struck us. We remember when the commission started, and all of these bodies, key important people, were not following procedures that they had set themselves. And particularly when it comes to financial management, it's quite curious that within financial management, they will never follow anything what they're supposed to follow. And you wonder why. And the malpractices, yes, putting all the money in private bank accounts. So there's a massive problem with governance. We've been saying, everybody's been saying it for a very, very long time. It appears as if the citizens see public office as a kind of corruption industry.
Yes.
We've just turned government or public service into a corruption industry. How do you break this parallel state, as they call it? What we're seeing in Senegal today, Diomaye Faye and Sonko, they want to attack that, they want to tackle that, but that's going to be very difficult. It is society the way we are like. We see government is for private ends. It's for, you know what I mean? It's a public position. Yeah. It's for private ends. So we have this approach, this outlook. So that's really holding us back so much.
But I guess this can be replicated for most of our institutions.
Exactly.
If they had established commissions on state-owned enterprises as well, and so a lot of things would have. I hope the government will not just stop at the local councils. They will look into all these underperforming, institutions to see what is going on. Where are the leakages? What are the issues, in terms of performance? They already constituted a commission that is overseeing. I hope we will engage people like Mr. Hussein Ngom so that they can also explain to us what issues they have discovered, what are the things that are happening, so that, all these things can be stopped, because these are revenues that has to go to the state to impact in our development. That is what they use. And we know that, it is very challenging, especially in these days and times when the debt is spiraling so high, and they have to be able to pay the debt, and servicing debt and interest is something that is very crucial. So the performance of these institutions, there is a correlation. So it's important we have that.
Exactly. So let's move to stories beyond our border. I mean, Guinea-Conakry celebrated independence, and reflecting, when you were to reflect, since independence, Guinea-Conakry, have been really, at an disadvantaged side, coup upon coup, the Dadis Camara, the Tumba, and of course we have Mamadi Doumbouya. When you look at the governance structure of Guinea-Conakry, at some point, for me, I don't know of others, I'll be like, I don't have confidence, and there'll be another coup again in Guinea-Conakry, because it's been done. I mean, when you look at Guinea-Conakry, even the electricity is not stable at some point. You can see since independence, what can you, take a look and say, okay, Guinea benefited this after independence.
You must understand the context and the history of Guinea. At independence, there were countries that decided to take independence, violently or otherwise, but they demanded it. And within the Francophone countries, Sékou Touré at the time decided to take independence. The French were not happy.
By force.
Yes, they were not happy, so they decided to strip Guinea of everything. Even the lamppost at the time, they took it. So that's how hostile the independence of Guinea became against the French colonial masters at the time. So that history made Guinea, because the world was very bipolar. It was divided into East and West. And because of Guinea sanctions, they have to really go towards the eastern side that is within the sphere of Russia. So the challenges of Guinea started from them. And Sékou Touré consolidated. He was a Pan-Africanist that was working with Kwame Nkrumah and some of the other radicals that believed that they had to have independence by force. So they had the choice of oui or no. So they voted to go on their own. That is when things started. And after Sékou Touré, then Lansana Conté came. So there had never been democratic structures. They don't have that, as opposed to Gambia, where we had liberal democracy, we had a multi-party system. Even Senegal did not have a multi-party system. So we started multi-party system way before most of these countries. Yes, it was a de facto one-party state because it was the PPP that was just winning, you know, because of the level of consciousness and awareness, even though they were not registering much development. But you must understand that context. But Guinea is endowed with a lot of natural resources. They are very rich, and Sékou Touré was able to protect that for the future generation, and they are sitting on a lot of resources. But what happened, they had started the trajectory towards democracy. But this guy came and decided to change the constitution when it was a term limit, 2 terms. When the 2 terms expired, you know what some of these African leaders do. He changed the constitution, and that created the situation that we are now. Let me leave Mboj to come in.
Absolutely. Alpha Condé. He was the one. Condé wanted to change it. Professor Condé, highly educated man. It makes you wonder, historian, I think, or economist. But, you know, Balde, when you introduced this story, everything you said about Guinea, you can say about a lot of other African countries
as well. Yes.
As well.
Yes.
So we are looking at sort of a common pattern, sort of post-independence sort of symptom, as it were, as if directly linked to the colonial experience. So let us be careful here what's going on. We're trying to form a state. People thought that from independence, that was it. Independence was the symbolism of what we want to do. Now we are living the reality of it. So we're going to go through a lot of difficulty, coups, counter-coups, and all these unseemly things that we're doing. We thought that it was going to be easy, but it seems to me now it's very much part of what we call independence. So I'm not an Afro-pessimist. It looks very dark, but in the longer term, we just had no idea that this is really what independence means, especially having come from that experience that we had. So we'll see now what is going on when they took over security. How are they performing now? There are certain reports that the security situation is worsening. To run a government is extremely difficult. It's not simply about good intentions or having a nice PR and the like. It is about competence, getting the right outcomes. We have always failed here. It's easy to use the political rhetoric, oh, we don't want France, we don't want the West, we don't want that. Granted, what are you going to do? Can you do it? Do you have the capacity
I think that's the position where Guinea is in right now. You know, at some point, okay, you are no more in the hands of the colonial masters anymore, but now you are independent. I mean, you took your independence forcefully at some point. Now these people have taken their hands off Guinea-Conakry. Now whether you are going to survive. So for a long time I've seen that pattern and that trend. Guinea have been surviving, you know, in a very difficult tract.
Yes, if you want independence, that is really what it means. And here, what does it mean? Because of this integrated world economy that's been emerging, you are locked into a kind of economy where you have very much the secondary partner. So it's extremely difficult. So we have to be sort of sympathetic to what these people are sort of
Thank you very much.
In any case, they have to go back to the people, because these people usurp power, and people have not been engaged or involved into their governance, and that is what they ought to do. They have to take it back to the people in a nutshell.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Mr. Malika, for, reviewing the stories with us. We appreciate, and you know, we'll do this another time. Mr. Mboj, at this point, we'll take a short break. After the break, then we will take the second segment of this program. So, viewers, we'll be right back.
Introducing the all-new Q Mobile. Rediscover the essence of mobile communication with a device that brings you back to basics: quality, simplicity, and reliability. The Q Mobile is designed to fit seamlessly into your life, offering essential features without the fuss. 72-hour battery life, keeping you connected longer. Listen to news, prayers, or your favorite shows with the FM radio on Q Phone. A built-in torchlight, always ready when you need it, memory card slot for expandable storage, and dual SIM capability for flexibility and convenience. Why wait? Step into any of our care centers today and get your hands on the most affordable phone for just $600. Plus, enjoy a bonus package of 300 minutes talk time and 300 SMS spread over 3 months. Absolutely free. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Atanong, oro mobile amen keso pura andere Q mobile. Mobile no yade jamano. Tenon kadi no webi na fitora golmo. Tenon mojogi piji bui. Battery on ko bal etati. FM radio. Lampu. Memory card storage. Ko SIM card ili o jettata bura andrede dual SIM. Dogu joni ya haka customer care center jameng. Soda odo mobile. Teme de jego rek te a heɓay teme tati minitaji ɗi anduɗa a wowlayi te non a heɓay kadi ko ɓura andrede teme tati sms te a yoɓata hay hunde ɓe sendanama ɗum e nder lebbi tati si tawiɗa faala hen ko laaɓi noddu qcell customer care e 111 qcell suñu bos miren udditi laawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki ɗum no yaadi e sartaji.
Looking for internet for your free videos, pictures, chats, work, and school projects? Think Free Night Browsing.
In a place where conviction meets compassion, Heritage Christian University College stands tall, shaping futures and societies. Here, creativity isn't just a concept, it's the fuel for social change. But it's not just about entrepreneurship, it's about nurturing a spirit of service and community. We instill in our students the values of leadership and giving back. Our graduates don't just end degrees, they embody entrepreneurship, philanthropy, ethics, and global competence. Heritage is where innovation thrives amidst a serene environment, offering unparalleled experiences. Come, be part of our journey where creativity and community unite to shape a better tomorrow. Heritage Christian University College, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders.
Qcell's Free Night Browsing lets you browse the internet for free. Oh yeah. Get a data SIM, recharge a minimum of $500 and enjoy free browsing after 24 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. every night for 30 days. QCell, Senior Bus. We innovate, others follow.
You are watching QTV this morning, and I am Ibrahim Asori Balde from that newspaper review and, very significant discussions on things happening in the Gambia, and of course, beyond our borders. Now, let's move to the second segment of this program, and the economic forces in the Gambia organizing breast cancer screening, day, which is very significant. It's going to be on Friday, and it's important because we are this is the month, breast cancer awareness week.
I think they call it Pink October.
Pink October, absolutely.
Like
yeah, so it's important for us to talk to the economic forces, for them to tell us what is the motivation behind this.
Absolutely, because not many of us would associate economic forces
and
running this campaign.
Yes.
So it will be interesting to know why they've decided to do it.
Exactly, because the mental picture that you have when you mention forces, you think about, peacekeeping, you think about, protecting the nation. So those are the things. But protecting the nation, yes, breast screening as well. You're protecting them. It's all protection.
Because
yes.
So some of us, let's be honest with you, for some of us, we are like, Well, it's been a while. Now we've got a government. Things are going peacefully. What are they doing here?
Yeah. So, I mean,
some of us, that's the question.
you know, most of some of those things will be answered, and we have two beautiful young ladies in our midst. Good morning. How are you?
We are fine. Good morning.
Yes.
Nakasubasi.
Nakasubasi.
Nagadev.
Yes. Can you introduce yourself?
I am Major Eunice Holman from the Force Headquarters. I'm the Deputy J1, J4.
Okay. All right. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
What's your name?
I'm Lieutenant Maram Gay, head officer, doctor in FPU,
Okay.
Senegalese FPU.
All right.
Okay.
It's important for us to, you know, treat this topic and talk about it. Let's talk about the breast cancer screening, which you are about to do on Friday.
Okay.
Yes.
Like you said, we are here for peacekeeping. But to have peace, you need to have peace within your body and around you. We have noticed that the month of October is a breast cancer awareness month, and that is codenamed Pink October. And as an economic force in Gambia, having the people of Gambia at heart, we decided to adopt the whole month of October to have free screening for the local population as well as the Gambian Defense Forces in the country. And to do this, we have collaborated with the Gambian Defense and Security Forces, comprising of the Gambian Armed Forces, the Gambian Police Force, the Fire and Rescue Services, the Gambian Immigration Department, and the Gambian Prison Services. We have medical personnel from all these sectors who have come together with the economic force, and we are going around the country to conduct free screening for the economic forces, the Gambian Security, Defense and Security Forces, as well as the general population, so that we bring down the menace of breast cancer. You know, breast cancer is a nationwide problem, and about 670 people have died as at 2022 out of breast cancer. Currently in Gambia, the rate is about 11.25, which is very high. And you know the population of women in Gambia is very, very high. So the death rate and people who have breast cancer in the Gambia is high. And early detection saves lives. So we want to do testing and free screening to help save the life of people.
Let me just ask here, as economic, you could have done any number of things. So why breast cancer screening? Is it that you saw a gap in our screening, in our healthcare system when it comes to screening? There was a gap that you realized existed, so you want to fill it. You could have done any number of things. Why specifically breast cancer?
Thank you very much for that question. Like I told you, breast cancer had been a worldwide pandemic. If 670 people have died out of it, it means it's a worldwide, it's the third highest killer of women in the world. So it is something that is worth looking at. Most people do not go for screening because they have to pick transportation to go to hospitals. They have to go and pay for screening. Here we come as an economic force together with the Gambian Defense and Security Forces to come to your doorsteps so that you don't think about picking vehicles to go and do the screening. You don't think about going to pay money to do the screening. We are coming to you and we are saying that come, do the test for free. So we saw the gap in transportation. People not even having money to go and pay at the hospitals to do screening. That is why we decided to fill that gap and help the good people of Gambia, and especially the women who contribute the highest part of the population to have that free screening so that we can detect it early and help save lives.
Exactly. Nañ waxtaan bëggoon naa pour ñu def ko ci Olof. Pour ñu mëna leeral because screening bi nga xamne bobu la ñoo def ay jigéen ñoy ñëw té community bi tam da nga gis ñi nga xamne ñooñu bëgga nañu xam lu ñu waxtaane fi. Bëggoon nañ rek nga wax ñu lan moy yeen seen jéego si lii.
Waaw ni mu ko waxee rek October Rose Pink October moom lañ jagleel breast cancer nga xam ni doomu jàngoro bi nga xam ne la dafay dal ci lu ëpp jigéen ñi.
Waaw.
te dafa doon doomu jàngoro ba nga xam ne fajam dafa xaw a metti léegi lan moo ñuy jàppale ndax jigéen ñi mën ko teel a faj teel ko xam ndax ñu teel cee jóg mooy ñu teel ko xam ci teel a xam bi mooy ñu ñëw di ko saytu ndax bari na ñu nga xam ne ñu ngi koy dégg breast cancer waaye duñu xam lan la ak duñu xam naka lañ koy fajee te am na yeneen jafe-jafe àdduna ya nga xam ne mooy tax nit ki du xelam du dem ci mu dem saytu yaramam ba xam loolu léegi ECOMIG dafa ñëw ci population bi ngir ñu dimbali leen ñu mën a saytu seen yaram na nga xam ne jigéen ñi ñu ñëw saytu seen yaram duñu fay duñu def dara nga xam ni dinañ mën a teel a xam ku am benn kii bu nga xam ni breast cancer la wala lenn lu nga xam ni daf ko yëg ci yaramam wala ci ay weenam ñu mën ko teel a saytu teel ko yóbbu ci hospital loolu moo taxoon tey ji ECOMIG jóg def Pink October bi ak Gambian population bi ndax ñu mën a dimbali ñu saytu seen yaram bi te ñu mën a teel a xam ndax loolu moo ëpp njëriñ ci breast cancer teel ko dépister teel ko xam moom mooy gën a jàppale nit ñi ndax ñu mën a teel ko faj.
dégg naa kii mu ne réew mi yëpp la ñoo dem.
waaw
dama bëggoon a xam naka ngeen a wëree réew mi.
waaw réew mi dañu def every week dañuy dem ci benn bërëb. dañuy dem ci benn bërëb. loolu lañ decide comme ni week bi ci topp dañuy ñëw diggante Banjul ak Bakau. after beneen bi ci topp tamit ñu doog a dem ñu dem ci Baara léegi suñu demee foofu dafa am ay docteur ak ay nurse yu fay nekk nga xam ni ñoom la population bi di gis ndax ñu mën leen a dépisteel xool seen yaram ku ci am doomu jàngoro wala yooyu ñu mën la teel a wax nga dem hospital ndax nga mën ko saytu. waaw dinañ dem tamit Brikama ak Yundum et semaine kii bi ci topp fourth week bi ñu dem Foni. waaw. waaw loolu lañ koy def.
interesting so mu ngi mel ni soo laalee loolu rek mu ngi mel ni yaa ngi laal dëkk yu bëri Foni Brikama.
That's it. Man nag fii maa ngi xalaat the practicalities. No doubt ni ngeen am seen own doctors waaye nag da ngeen di wax yeneen doctors or is there an equipment being they use full screen the medical equipment where is it coming from? So the practicality naka la da ngeen di wax local doctors yi. Is it seen own doctors naka la.
tàmbali nañ. ndax xam nga ECOMIG dañu am many doctors. man Senegalese la. but am na Nigerian Ghanaian etc. but dañu woo tamit doctors yi nga xam ne ñu ngi Gambian Army ak nurse yi. léegi am na docteur bu fi nekkul moom mi ngi jàngal nurse yi naka la ñuy defee examination bi breast examination bi moom mi ngi loolu lañ ko jagleel léegi every week kii yooyu équipe yooyu ndax da ngay gis ne que ECOMIG bi fi ñu laal nii yëpp am nañ fa base waaw léegi bu ñu demee foofu dañuy ànd ak docteurs yeeg Gambian nurse yi ñu def kii bi noonu lañ koy defee.
Okay, interesting. So let's come back to you. Okay, after the screening, what next for the women?
After the screening, when we find out that people have breast cancer, we will give referrals. We have links to places where people can get assistance and know the way forward. You know, with the first screening, when you are done and we suspect that you will need to do extra tests, mammogram and other tests, which we will discuss that in the next segment when the doctors come to talk about it. So we'll refer you and the appropriate action will be taken. We would like personnel to also note that we are going to vantage points, like she was saying in the Wolof language. At Barra, we'll be at the South Government Hospital to do free screening for all the civil population For the military personnel and the defense and security forces, we will also do screening for them. At Brikama, we'll go to the Brikama Hospital, the District Hospital. And at Yundum, the new Yundum Health Clinic, we'll go there on the 17th of October to also do the screening for them. So the general public is invited to go there and do the screening.
Okay.
At the Foni region too, we'll be at the Buam Government Hospital. And we are also trying to locate vantage points that are closer to the people so that everybody can have access to this screening. We will also go to the prison service where we will test the staff and the inmates of the prison. Sometimes we neglect them.
Oh, yeah.
We are going there to test the inmates of the various prisons so that we also ensure that their health is well catered for.
Absolutely. So thank you very much. You know, we'll try to invite another personnel, I mean, to continue the conversation. But at this point, we'll engage Madam. Nañ continuer rek. ñu waxtaan lii dafa am fay ndax amut fay.
déedéet amul fay. amul fay.
Okay.
waaw. ñëpp mën nañu.
Yes.
ñëpp mën nañu ñëw. ñu def ko. ndax loolu la tax ñu def kii bi Pink October bi ndax ñu facilities la. jigéen ñi mën a ñëw saytu seen yaram te duñu fay dara. ndax xam nañ ni que bari na ña nga xam ni ci suñu dëkk yi duñu tal dem hospital wala yooyu. ndax jafe-jafe yi bari na liggéey bi bari na ak yooyu. léegi dañu leen ni xamal leen déjà lan mooy breast cancer ba pare ñu fexe ndax am na breast examination yoo nga xam ne dañ koy def. suñu yëgee dara ci breast bi ñu mën la wax ni que lii kat nañ dem ñu gën ko saytu. waaw.
But I wonder ndax suñ la testé.
waaw
yaa ngi positive. Perhaps am na treatment or am na some care boo war a dem through. yéen góoma da ngeen bokk ci boobu. After screening yaa ngi positive. Then yéen how much ngeen mën a def ci the care or treatment naka laa demee afterwards.
ok léegi ñun la ñuy tàmbalee. mooy déjà test bi. léegi dañu bëgg ñu sensibiliser ñu bëri. ba pare test leen. léegi suñu positive dañ leen di wax ñu dem ci hospital yeeg clinique yi. ndax ñu gën ko saytu. ndax breast cancer saytu bi dafa am yu mu laaj. dafay am yeneen kii yooyu def comme mammographie. wala ultrasound yi ndax ñu gën a xool lan moo nekk ci ween bi. ndax boo saytoo yow boo defee test bi da ngay gis ni que xëy na dafa am ween bi dafa am lu ci nekk. comme mën na am bul ci biir masse wala muy sotti te nàmpalul. léegi bu ñu gisee loolu dañ lay wax ni lii kat am na lum ñuy jox. léegi dañ lay yóbbu hôpital. ñu def ay mammographie ultrasound yi ak yooyu ndax ñu mën a xam lan la ndax mën na nekk breast cancer but am na yu nga xam ni it's not breast cancer.
So early detection.
Wow. So now let's engage the gentleman here. How are you, sir?
I'm very fine.
What's your name?
I'm Niba Lieutenant Sapon.
Okay.
I'm the medical officer for Ecomi Ganko 8.
All right, you're welcome on this platform. Let's talk about the breast cancer screening. You know, that is you're preparing for it to start on Friday. You know, the initiative is a very important one. Is this the first time for the ECOMIC to conduct such a thing?
Okay, so I have to put on record that this is actually the first time ECOMIC is taking this initiative to undertake a general routine screening for the forces and then the civilian populace as well. So yes, the aim is to reduce the incidence of breast cancer in the Gambia. So what's going to be done is that we are going to mount stations which will be screening the patients one after the other. We have actually sensitized the general population to be present for this kind of screening. The medical professionals who are also coming for the screening have also got the requisite knowledge and skill to be able to pick up early breast cancer disease so that it can be reported and then follow-up can be done. Yes.
Exactly. I mean, maybe someone is wondering, all right, who are they screening? Is it only the security forces, maybe, or who are they screening? Is it only the hospitals? Can anybody join? Anybody who want to be screened?
Okay, so I'd want to throw a bit of light on the risk factors which can influence who is supposed to come for screening. So generally, breast cancer can affect both men and women. However, you being a female puts you at a higher risk. And then the science has shown that increasing age and then you being a female are the two most common risk factors. What actually entails is that now women who are of advancing age are expected to come for the screening. So it's not exclusive to only even the young or the aged, but advancing age. However, there have been growing incidents of breast cancer even in middle-aged women. Hence, every other woman is expected to come for the screening. Whether you're a civilian, you're part of the Gambian Defense Civilian Staff or any other thing.
Exactly. Let's talk about people's attitude when it comes to prevention of breast cancer. You know, some people might sit at home until when it is too late for them to start coming out. I mean, some people might take it lightly when they start realizing their symptoms, you know, on their breast. So, I mean, don't you think attitude is also another problem?
Okay, so rightly said, there's apathy. And then people don't actually have the knowledge about breast cancer prevention. So it's actually good that ECOMIC has come up with this. So what ECOMIC is also doing is that we're actually going to give lectures. And the lectures also entail sensitizing the populace. So that's also going to create that kind of zeal that they want to find out really what's going on in their breast. So we think that we can bridge that gap of apathy from the sensitization, and then we'll come right to the screening as well.
When you talk about breast cancer, you mentioned it earlier. The mental picture that people tend to have is only women. Men can also be victims of breast cancer. You know, and mostly men will feel that, you know, they won't feel very free to come and be screened. So if men come, will they be screened as well?
Certainly men will be screened. Okay, so the idea is that breast cancer is as low as 0.5 to 1% in males. So routine screening for men is not done. However, since men are at risk, if there's any man who has issues with the breast, you just come and then we check it out, because occasionally the breast cancer will begin as a small lump, which you might not even notice. Hence, you're encouraging the general populace that if you're a male and then you realize that there's anything abnormal about your breast, just come in and get screening. You might not know, maybe that's a cancer which is growing. It's actually better to pick it at an earlier stage. So science has shown that breast cancer that is picked early enough, as much of 90% of the patients survive with breast-preserving surgeries. That is, you don't even have to take the breast cancer off. If you pick it early enough, 90% of those patients will survive for a very long time.
Mba am nañ jumtuwaay pour jëfandikoo pour screening bi, you know, because bagage bi tam loolu am na solo pour nga seet ok all right kii lii laa ko seetee am nañ bagage bu doy.
waaw ndax saytu bi jafewul kii docteur bi wala nurse bi moom mooy jàngale nan la ñuy saytoo te ku ci nekk yow ci sa kii sax suñ la ko jàngalee mën nga koo defal sa bopp. ndax saytu bi lenn dong la, breast examination la. tey jii first test bi moom lay doon. léegi bu ñu ñëwee dinañ leen di saytu xool seen ween yi ak yooyu nan la demee bët mën nañ leen ko jàngal tamit. ndax am na lu ñuy wax ni nga xam ni yow ci sa bopp yow yaa koy defal sa bopp. te loolu mooy tax saytu bi moom jafewul. léegi xëy na boo saytoo dara yow suñ la ko jàngalee nga saytu dara ci sa yaram xëy na mën nga jege hospital wala clinique nga ni leen man kat gis naa lii te yëg naa ni lu bees la. boo demee foofu docteur bi bu ko xoolee wala nurse bi after nag foofu la yeneen kii yi di dugg yeneen saytu yi. mooy lépp li nga xam ne mooy mammographie ñoom kay waaw.
All right, so Mr. Mbodj, finally.
Wow, he touched on it earlier, the importance of early detection So hanga so foog naa bu ko doon nañu dugg ci loolu more.
Waaw.
lu tax mu significant ne dañu war a am early detection.
Waaw.
Hanga moom mu ngi wax ne perhaps 90% of cases where you've got early detection, then they could cure it or do something.
Waaw.
Let's go into that, I think.
waaw loolu la lañ detection bi lan moo tax mu important loolu la tey jii buñ ko teelee detect ci sa yaram mën nañ ko faj ba mu wér ndax day wér loolu la
ok
moo tax ñuy def test bi nit ñi teel ko xam ndax dañu seetlu ni bu ko jigéen ñi di xam wala yenn saay góor yi day fekk feebar bi sori na late na te bu leetee dafay gën a doon jafe-jafe pour faj ko
waaw thank you very much you want to add something before we close?
Yes. About the screening, I want to emphasize a few things. So science has also made providence that one, if you're a female and you are below 30 years, you have to do breast ultrasound. However, if you're 40 years, breast mammogram is recommended. In between 30 and then 40 years, you can either do breast ultrasound or mammogram, depending on the symptoms you come with. So in a bid to reduce the rate of late detection, we encourage women who are less than 30 years to be doing occasional breast ultrasound screening. And then women who are more than 40, mammogram is also requested. It's recommended for such patients. Okay, and then I also want to say it on record that we are not just breast enthusiasts, we are also an advocate for the rights of breast to live. So we want to encourage the populace that they should assist us to achieve this common goal. They should come in their numbers for the breast screening, and they should also engage in self-breast examination. And I think this will go a long way to reduce the incidence of breast cancer in the Gambia.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's the end of this segment. Why Kimungi Sol A+, is that your blood group?
Yes.
And that's my blood group too, A positive, you know. Yeah, so thank you very much for coming on the program. We appreciate it. And, you know, we'll follow the development. And don't hesitate. If you have anything to share with the general public, you know, you are welcome on this platform.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so viewers will take a short
So the screening will go for the whole month, right?
Yes, please.
Yes.
For the
for a
whole
month.
month.
Oh,
For the whole
wow,
month.
nice. All right. So we'll be right back after the break.
Felenting a Q Smart and in Q Smart Plus na falie hade natal seniaringol set aka wallata akata bake yenyin soto kat ko mobile tariyarimba andum foka pare ala batterio beta ala wati janda aka ji Q Smart ye 5.9 immersive display la soto nyindu mu dalasi wuli sabanin kemenani da malati ni mobile o nyin sang iba bondulo soto la min tata for 15 GB andung kemeni muang free talk time fanam betara yele warning keme saba SMS o foka pare nyimbe mu free lati ni mobile o nyin sang walante fana ni lafta Q Smart Plus la wo fanam bijele ice screen warman bala soto minketa 6.5 inches te anin dalasi wuli nani damma isa nyi mobile o soto no andu foka pare afana nim bundle package ole nata iba 30 GB data soto la yekeme saba SMS o soto ani yekeme ni muang talk time soto nyimbe dum hani feng ita jola kana tu koma ila Q Smart ni ila Q Smart Plus soto B kabo Q Cell isa nyi mobile o soto no B na customer care build o mimba nyi banko kan momo lafta kuma ko yo moy la nyinto isa na customer care bunjulola ni 111 Q Cell suñu boss dole silo wala dole abula numa nyindum ani sartole nata.
We are back. And you are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Asuri Balde. Now let's move to the other segment of this program. And we have the a public relation officer of the Gambia Armed Forces, Colonel Lamin Sanyang. And the discussion will be centered on the deploying of Gambian soldiers to Sierra Leone. You know, most of the time, when you talk about this, people will ask different questions. Why are we sending soldiers to Sierra Leone? The Sierra Leone request for sending our soldiers there, you know. What is happening to the Gambian soldiers? Why are we not taking care of our own affairs? I mean, I believe people have been asking those questions because I've been hearing it. So we have Piero here, and he will clear the air. Piero, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here once again.
Yes. It's good to have you once more. So let's talk about, I mean, this topic, deployment of Gambian soldiers to Freetown.
Yes, to put it into perspective, in June of 2023, there was an election that was held in Sierra Leone, and then His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio emerged as the winner. Subsequently, in July and November of the same year, there have been some incidents of attacks, one on one of their barracks and another one on one of their prisons. And then things escalated up to a point. By December, the heads of state and governments met in Abuja. And during that ECOWAS meeting, the Republic of Sierra Leone requested for a stabilization mission to be deployed to help in stabilizing the country and also to ensure that democratic space or their democracy thrives. So subsequently, the heads of states and government tasked the ECOWAS Commission to work towards the deployment of such a stabilization mission in Sierra Leone. And the heads of the commission also now tasked the chiefs of defense staff who held a meeting in Abuja in August to start the planning and preparation for this deployment. And subsequently, the Gambia Armed Forces and the other countries that pledged to provide these troops have started work on what is called force generation. So for the strength of the force that is expected to deploy is about 1,200 personnel.
Okay.
So for the case of the Gambia Armed Forces, we pledged to provide 100 troops and also pledged to be in charge of the communications infrastructure for the mission. So for that, we are providing 35 personnel from our communications unit, which means the Gambia will provide a total of 135 personnel, including one officer who will be under the intelligence cell. So you may recall the Gambia did also pledge to provide troops for a quick reaction force to the United Nations mission way back in 2019. And we have made several efforts in that endeavor in trying to generate the forces that are required. And we were able to provide 3 quick reaction forces composed of 250 personnel each, making 750. And those troops were subjected to several trainings. QRF-1 was trained by the British Armed Forces, whilst 2 and 3 traveled to Turkey for training. So on the aspect of training, that was done. And subsequently, around 2020 or 21 thereabout, we were subjected to what is called an AAV, that's an inspection of our readiness and capability by the United Nations for that deployment. And the results of that inspection came out positive in that we have been found to have the necessary skills and capabilities, except a few issues that the United Nations did highlight that we needed to work on. And that had to do with the critical enablers, that is the armored personnel carriers. So since 2021, we have been working on procuring these armored personnel carriers.
Yeah.
And I would like to state that there's been a great deal of improvement and progress in that front, in that the Republic of Turkey, with whom we have been engaging all these years to procure these armored personnel carriers, would provide these armored personnel carriers, and they will be here very shortly before the end of this year, inshallah.
Yeah.
So that bit about the force is generated, the accompanying equipment, the soft-skin vehicles is available, and we hope to receive the armored personnel carriers shortly before the end of this year.
Okay.
So that's the 3 QRFs. So the first generation for this deployment for Sierra Leone became an easy bit for us.
Okay.
Because in the past we have had issues where people were complaining about the fairness of the selection. You know, some people have been nominated who have been into other missions, whilst others never benefited.
Selection mode, yeah.
Yes, was not fair. So for this one, it became easy because QRF 1, 2, and 3 were just on standby. So what we had to do is, because we needed 100, so we just picked from QRF 1, that 100 personnel, to be on standby for Sierra Leone. Then the 35 personnel that were supposed to be in charge of the infrastructure in Sierra Leone have been selected from our communications department, 35 personnel, and then an officer for the intelligence cell. So the procedure for most of these deployments, if you allow me, is that once there is a desire to deploy a mission, countries normally pledge. So at the ECOWAS level, our Chief of Defense Staff was there with his directors of operation and logistics. And we pledged this 100 personnel and also said we also want to take care of the communications infrastructure. Because with time through our deployments in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Darfur, we have gathered a great deal of experience, in force protection. Most of these force headquarters, they were protected by Gambian personnel. And also the communication infrastructure in Darfur, for example, was handled by our own personnel. So all the communications that were generated within the force itself is manned by Gambian armed forces personnel.
Gambian armed forces.
So that was why when the time came for pledging for this Sierra Leone mission, we pledged that we have the capability to provide troops, not only Gambia's own communications, but the communication for the entire mission. So that, and they agreed and gave us that slot because there was evidence to show that we have these capabilities to be able to provide this, these communications. Yes.
Yes. It was quite striking there when you said that it was Sierra Leone's government that requested a kind of ECOWAS stabilization force or something like that. Yes. Even though the reports we're getting from Sierra Leone is that they don't think that there's any problem. Of course, there was this apparent attempted coup, which they had handled well, according to them. Yeah. So I will ask this. Should we send our soldiers there, what would you say is the clear and present danger that they are likely to face?
Well, as an armed force, these are questions probably that are supposed to be handled at a much higher level. But for us as members of an armed forces, we are tools and instruments that governments use to carry out their mandates. Every president, you are elected to rule a country. And you have instruments that you use to be able to, govern, and rule the country. And part of the engagements of a country is also what is called diplomacy. So peacekeeping comes under that realm. It's a diplomatic means of projecting, peace throughout the world. We may recall that in 2016, we had a political impasse, and the government of the Gambia requested, that's the president-elect at that time, and the government requested ECOWAS intervention. And usually, most of these interventions are usually primarily at the behest of the government of the country. If not, you will meet a huge amount of resistance. So in the case of the Gambia, it was the government at that time that requested ECOWAS intervention. And, they came in, they were all welcomed, and then, we still have them here. So for Sierra Leone too, that was the same request that came. And once it was at the level of the heads of state and government, all that they had to do was to give directives for the ECOWAS Commission to plan towards the deployment of the mission. So for the commission also, what they have is, there was this ECOWAS standby force idea that was being planned at that time. And forces were, even the Gambia also pledged to provide troops for that ECOWAS standby force. So it is still through that channel that we come in to help our brothers and sisters in Sierra Leone, also stabilize, as the case may be.
That's it. But for me, what I wanted to explore there, of course, we understand that when it comes to policy, what to do or not to do, that's really for governments to do. But again, once they decided they're going to go, operationally,
yes,
what threats are we likely to face? Because it is on the basis of that knowledge that you would prepare yourself. So when we look at Sierra Leone today, we don't think, especially we're from the Gambia anyway, we don't think that there's this overriding emergency that would warrant ECOWAS to go. So that is why I want to explore. Operationally, we are sending our 100 there. What risks, what clear and present danger are they likely to face given the security analysis right now?
Well, if they intervene, if you intervene in a country, there are so many risks that you face. But if the request usually is from the government itself and the people of that country, the resistance may not be that, overwhelming. Like for ECOMIG, when they came in 2016-17, they were received with applause, and appreciation by all Gambians. However, if like they had come in, that is what you call a peace enforcement. But this one is peacekeeping. But if you want to enforce peace now, you are likely to meet resistance from the public. The population itself will rise up against you, that you are not welcome, and then they will fight you. And then you may have other forces also in the country that you will come into contact with, posing a risk to your mission. But the bottom line is that that responsibility to either deploy or not deploy rests with the heads of state and governments of ECOWAS to take. But the Gambia Armed Forces, or the Gambia, I can say, we are ready and capable to deploy our troops in Sierra Leone or anywhere. Because like I said, the QRF, Quick Reaction Force that we generated, they are just on standby. So all that we have been doing all these years is just to get the complementary equipment and the other logistics. So once all that is available, wherever we are called upon, we'll be able to deploy.
Yeah, so I think he said it all. They are ready. So are they already there, or we are getting ready?
So when?
We're still in the first generation phase. We are preparing the troops, getting them ready. They have undergone series of trainings in the past. Notwithstanding, we'll still subject them to still some refresher trainings before they leave. And at the level of the ECOWAS too, we expect the ministers of defense and finance to work on the budgets, because funding has to be there.
Yes.
And for even the Gambian troops, when they deploy, their responsibility in terms of feeding and other logistics will be taken care of by the ECOWAS Commission and not the government of the Gambia. However, there is a point I need to clarify. Usually, whenever countries or contingents deploy in a mission, there is usually a grace period of 3 months, wherein they have to go in, they have to be self-sustaining. You should be able to sustain yourself within that period of 3 months. And we are doing all the necessary assessments and also all the procurements to ensure that we deploy, if it comes, within 3 months we are able to sustain ourselves.
Thank you, Colonel Lamin Sanyang, for coming on the program. And, we'll follow the development. And, probably we are going to have this discussion again,
Sure.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, the program will continue. We'll be right back.
It's happy time. Get 50% off all calls to any network. Enjoy calls every day to any network from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Is it too good to be true? QCell. We innovate, others follow. As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, Gambia's trusted network. QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
We are back. You are watching QTV this morning. Now let's head to the last segment of this program. And we are looking at Farm Fresh Agribusiness Training. And of course, we have Modu Ernest Njai, CEO and founder of Farm Fresh. Mr. Njai, you are welcome on this program.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Yes, it's good to have you here. Farm Fresh, it's not a new name. When you talk about Farm Fresh, you know, most of the people will tell you, okay, we understand they produce farm produce. But can you please take us through what Farm Fresh does?
Yes, thank you. So Farm Fresh was established in 2013, but we came into full operations in 2014. So the idea was to create a bridge between the farmers who are producing vegetables, fruits, but lack access to markets, and our buyers who are both in the Gambia and in the diaspora. So we set up an online platform, an e-commerce platform, to provide access to markets for these farmers. So that's the whole concept. And there are a lot of Gambians in the diaspora who want to feed their families in the Gambia, but then they want to feed them with healthy products, you know. So we said, okay, you are remitting money all the time. Why don't you give us a little portion of that remittance and remit food through us, through our platform? You know, and we ensure that your family members will be healthy. And a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. That's the general idea.
Well, Mr. Mboj, I mean, this is a wise idea.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you send money in the Gambia, at the end of the time, what you're going to buy is food stuff, you understand? So you getting the fresh stuff from Farm Fresh, I think, you know, will save you time and at the same time getting the right one to buy.
Absolutely. The money is coming in, but again, it's helping business here.
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
It's
sort of killing two birds with one stone.
Yes.
You know, your family will get what they need to
Yes.
get, but again, you're helping a business to do things. So the training bit, you see, so the bridge between producers and markets, is it? That's
exactly.
the bridge you're gonna be. So explain to us that role. How have you been doing it?
Yes. So we've, with our meager resources, we've managed to partner with over 20 farms across the country, in the whole of Gambia. Mainly women farmers, because they're the majority and they're the most hardworking.
Absolutely.
You know, sorry to the men, but
no,
they're just sitting in
the reality.
In the banter bars and
narcos,
playing, you know.
if you go to the narcos, you go to the gardens, you meet
They're really very hardworking, to be honest. You know, salute to the Gambian women, you know. So we said, okay, they're often taken advantage of by middlemen. I have nothing against the middlemen. You know, they just come and offer them any price, especially when there's a lot of produce. And the women are really worried that it's going to get spoiled. So they're at the mercy of these people who would just come and offer them next to nothing prices. And it becomes hand-to-mouth business. What we are trying to promote is commercialized farming, so that you see farming as a business. We want people to see farming as something that is attractive, that can make you become a millionaire, just like anyone can become a millionaire through other means, whether it's carpentry or electronics. People are millionaires in other countries as farmers. So we want people to see farming as a profitable business and a noble business, not for the poor people.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that concept. If you are a farmer,
farming is poor,
it's a poor man's business or job. So that's what we're trying to. And what we do is we work with the farmers, we discuss with them, and we try to support them, even with seeds, with our meager resources.
Okay. Because
we are still a small, very, very small company. And we also try to encourage them to grow vegetables which are also in demand, but not very common in the Gambia, like kale, spinach, broccoli, celery, cauliflower, all of those ones, because there's a market for it, you know, because we're used to growing only the traditional vegetables, the tomatoes, cucumbers, cabbages.
Cabbage, yes.
And one of the issues that we've realized is that, like, there's very little innovation. You go to a farm, a whole, like 1 hectare, everybody is growing the same thing. Cabbage, 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 cabbage. So that brings down the value of that vegetable in the market. It becomes very cheap because it's everywhere. So we're saying diversify. If one sector is growing cabbage, this one should grow cucumbers, the other one should grow green peppers. You know, so there's a balance in the market. So this is what we are trying to also educate. So in as much as we are a profit-making business, there's a social dimension to it, you know, because we want to create impact in the society. We want to create wealth. As we're creating wealth for ourselves, we want others to also be empowered and to become wealthy. So when we come to the training part, I don't know if I can get into
yes,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah. So we were inspired, and we saw that there are a lot of talented young Gambian startups who have just started running their agribusinesses. And agribusiness is very wide and varied. When we say agribusiness, we're talking about fish farmers, horticulture, animal husbandry, poultry, food processors. It's very broad. So we said that, okay, there are a lot of people with our little knowledge for the past 10 years. We think that with partnerships with other experts, training experts, we can augment their skills, entrepreneurial skills. Because to run a business, passion is very important. It really drives you. But again, you need to have business skills, entrepreneurial skills, to know how to manage your business, how to keep records, how to operate your bank account, how to have access to finance, and how to mitigate certain risks. There are things that really you really have to be shown the way. There are people who are very natural. They know, or you call it luck. Some might be very lucky. They don't do any of those things and they're still successful. But rest assured that if people go through this training, they have a greater chance of success than people without this training. So we said we're going to offer a free training for startups who have been in business for maybe between 1 to 2 years. And we can guide them and show them how to create a business plan, even a basic mini business plan. Because to access finance to the banks, you apply to the banks, they will say, okay, show us your project. Where's your business plan?
Exactly.
So that's why we said, okay, we're going to work with experts who in the industry, very experienced, and they will train them on these concepts, on how to manage their businesses and how to grow their business, how to scale their businesses to the next level. Because we want entrepreneurs like us. We're still small, but this is our vision. Don't stay at one level. Try to go scale to the next level. You cannot be at level 1 for the past 5 years. Try to go to level 2, and eventually maybe even branch out of the Gambia. Who knows? We're doing e-commerce, and people are ordering from all over the world through our platform. And we also have plans to expand, to replicate our business model in other West African countries. I've traveled to many African countries, and they're like, wow, this is a great concept. Why don't you guys come over to Gambia, to wherever they are, like Kenya, South Africa, I've been there, Mozambique, and they're all like, let's replicate this, let's do this over here.
So I wonder, your training, how is it structured? You have a training center, or do you go out? How is it structured?
Yes, very good question. So it all started with this crazy idea of offering the training. For the past 4 months, 5 months, I've been thinking about it. And but lately I said, okay, I cannot keep on procrastinating. So I started reaching out to different institutions to see if we can partner to offer this training. And luckily, we approached Q City, and they were gracious enough to offer us their training hall, one of their training halls, for free for 5 days.
Okay.
Of course, then we will also patronize them. They will do the catering.
Yes.
So that things are, we balance it.
Balance it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it is. So it's going to be a combination of theory and practical, because a lot of the trainings, I have nothing against trainings, but a lot of the trainings are mainly theoretical. People just take down notes and then go home and put
without practicalizing.
Yeah, and forget about it.
Yeah.
So the trainers, the setup is going to be in such a way that there will be theory, but there will be hands-on training as well during the training sessions for these 5 days, from October 7th, that's on Monday, to Friday next week. So they'll give them exercises. Even they'll give them practical exercise where they will even create a business out of thin air. Use your imagination, create a business, do some little competitions. Who has the highest sales? Hands-on. Who has the best business plan? That sort of thing. So it's going to be a combination of theory and practice.
And more generally, this agribusiness landscape.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
Yes.
What are the weaknesses or the strengths
of
what's going on? And the trajectory, you've been in it for a while.
Yes. Yeah, the agribusiness landscape, it has a very good potential, very high potential for growth, but there are lots of challenges as well, to be quite honest. For example, there's lack of access to finance, which we all face. And one of the reasons for this is that a lot of the commercial banks want to reduce their risks. When we approach them, that's what they tell us privately, that we cannot, agriculture is so risky, you know, because of the weather. You cannot predict. So if we give you the funds and then there's, you know, and there is no insurance. In Nigeria and other countries, they have what we call agricultural insurance. So it creates that buffer, you know. So this is what is lacking in the Gambia. If we have that agricultural insurance framework or policy or companies, you know, endorsed by the central bank, then you'll see that at least farmers would be assured that if anything happens, if a disaster happens, there's a fallback position. They can tap into some funds, you know, through the insurance, the insurance companies. So, but the trajectory is promising. I think one of the things that is lacking is innovation. We are all used to this traditional farming methods, using the manual way of doing things. But you'll come to realize, if you travel widely in China, Japan, and even in some African countries, there are a lot of basic things, little innovations, technologies that don't even cost much money. And it would create a great impact, like drip irrigation. You can do it in a way that it will not be even expensive. You know, there's a way that you can use the 1.5 liter bottled water and invert it in a way, and then you'll have water dripping, and it will supply enough water to your plants. And it's like automated. You just leave it there and then you go about your business. So we want to create that awareness also, that there are ways, in spite of the challenges, there are ways that things can be done better. And that's technology.
Interesting. So for this training, how many people are we expecting?
Yeah, so for the training, we've shortlisted 40 applicants. Actually, when we sent out the call for applications 5 months ago, 350 people applied. 350 businesses, Gambians, startups.
This shows you how ready
exactly
they are.
Instantly and online, and it was strictly online. A lot of people, it wasn't on a billboard or anything. It was strictly online, and we got 350 people who applied. And we were able to shortlist it, to take it down to 150, because we have some basic criteria. You cannot accommodate everybody, you know. And one of the criteria is that at least your business should be registered, even if it is a sole proprietorship. So these are the things that we're going to teach them. You have to register your business. You have to open a bank account, basics, you know. But now, due to resource constraints, because we don't have much support, we've scaled it down to 40. And we want to do it in batches. So this is the first batch, and hopefully the second batch will have greater support, and we can do it in a bigger way. Maybe we'll go beyond 40, maybe 50 or more.
Yeah, so I mean, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Mr. Modu Ernest Njai, CEO and founder of Farm Fresh. I think this is a very important topic. You know, farming. The Gambia need to change the concept of farming. It is attributed to poor people. But most of these big nations, if you go, you can see the farmers are the most wealthy people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No, absolutely.
So I believe with Farm Fresh, the narrative is going to change one day.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
So thank you very much, Mr. Boy. Thank you very much. See you on Monday.
Yes.
Bye-bye for now.